Ladies, you are valuable. You are not an accident, not an afterthought, but a masterpiece designed with purpose. You were created to be a helper, a nurturer, and a force of wisdom in a man's life. But too often, women make mistakes that cost them their dignity, peace, and future. Today, I want to share with you 9 things you should never do with a man if you want to walk in wisdom, strength, and purpose. A man without vision is like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly on the sea, vulnerable to the winds and waves of life. When a man has no clear direction, no sense of purpose, and no goals guiding his actions, he becomes unpredictable, unstable, and ultimately dangerous. Not just to himself, but to those who are connected to him. A woman who aligns herself with such a man risks being led into confusion, frustration, and even destruction. Vision is what defines a man's path. It determines where he is going, how he will get there, and who he needs to become in the process. A man with vision has a reason to wake up every morning, a mission that drives his decisions, and a passion that fuels his efforts. Without vision, a man simply exists. He does not live with intention. His days are spent reacting rather than planning, moving rather than progressing, and surviving rather than thriving. A woman who chooses to build her life with a man who lacks vision will find herself constantly wondering where the relationship is headed. She may pour her energy into supporting him, hoping he will eventually discover his purpose, but without personal conviction, he will continue to drift. A relationship with a man who lacks vision is like being on a road trip with a driver who has no destination. There will be movement but no progress. Frustration will build, confusion will set in, and eventually she will realize that she has wasted valuable time going nowhere. A man without vision is often unstable in his emotions and decisions. Because he has no clear purpose, he may jump from one idea to another, constantly chasing temporary excitement but never committing to long-term growth. His uncertainty can manifest in many ways. He may struggle with commitment in relationships, change jobs frequently, or make impulsive choices that create instability for himself and those around him. A woman who depends on such a man for leadership will find herself in a cycle of disappointment, always hoping for change, but never seeing true transformation. One of the most dangerous aspects of a man without vision is his vulnerability to external influences. When a man lacks a clear sense of direction, he becomes easily swayed by the opinions of others, the temptations of the world, and the pressures of society. He may fall into destructive habits, associate with the wrong crowd, or make decisions based on emotions rather than wisdom. Without an internal compass guiding him, he is at the mercy of whatever comes his way, making him unreliable and unpredictable. A man with vision, on the other hand, is steadfast and focused. His decisions are not based on temporary feelings, but on long-term purpose. He is not distracted by every opportunity that presents itself because he knows what aligns with his mission and what does not. A visionary man is intentional about his relationships, career, and spiritual growth because he understands that his life is meant for something greater than himself. Women who desire a strong, stable, and meaningful relationship must be careful not to settle for a man who lacks vision. A relationship is meant to be a partnership where both individuals contribute to each other's growth. But when a man has no direction, he cannot lead, protect, or provide effectively. A woman should never have to carry the weight of both partners' futures alone. Instead, she should connect with a man who already has a clear purpose, one she can support and grow with, rather than someone she has to push forward at every turn. It is important for women to recognize the signs of a visionless man early. If a man is content with mediocrity, avoids responsibility, and has no passion for anything greater than the present moment, he is not yet ready for a serious relationship. A woman's role is not to build a man's vision for him, but to walk alongside him as he pursues what he is already called to do. A relationship with a man who knows where he is going creates security, stability, and a shared sense of purpose, qualities that lead to a fulfilling and successful partnership. Your standards define who you are. They are the boundaries that protect your values, your dignity, and your self-respect. When you compromise your standards, you give away pieces of yourself in exchange for temporary acceptance, affection, or validation. A woman who knows her worth understands that her standards are not negotiable. They are a reflection of her identity, her principles, and her purpose in life. Compromising standards often begins with small decisions that seem harmless at first. A woman may ignore red flags in a relationship because she does not want to be alone. She may tolerate disrespect because she hopes the man will change. She may silence her voice to avoid conflict, thinking that keeping the peace is more important than standing firm in her beliefs. But every time she lowers her standards, she loses a part of herself. Over time, she may wake up one day and realize she no longer recognizes the woman she has become. One of the most dangerous reasons women compromise their standards is the fear of losing love. Many believe that if they do not adjust their expectations, they will never find the right partner. This fear leads them to accept less than they deserve, hoping that love will make up for the compromises they have made. But true love does not require a woman to sacrifice her values. A man who genuinely loves and respects a woman will honor her standards, not try to break them down. A woman's standards should be rooted in self-respect. When she values herself, she refuses to settle for anything that contradicts her beliefs or diminishes her worth. This applies not only to romantic relationships, but to friendships, career choices, and everyday decisions. A woman who respects herself does not allow others to manipulate her, use her, or pressure her into situations that go against her values. She knows that maintaining her standards may cost her some relationships, but it will never cost her true love, real respect, or lasting peace. Some women compromise their standards because they do not believe they are worthy of something better. They settle for men who mistreat them, friendships that drain them, and environments that do not support their growth. They convince themselves that they cannot ask for more, that they should be grateful for whatever they get. But a woman who understands her worth knows that she was created for more than mediocrity. She does not beg for love, attention, or respect. She expects it, and she walks away from anything that does not align with her value. Compromising standards is a dangerous cycle. Once a woman lowers her expectations, it becomes easier to do it again. She may tell herself that bending a little here and there is not a big deal, but over time, these small compromises add up. Before she realizes it, she is trapped in a life that does not reflect who she truly is. The only way to break free is to decide that she will no longer settle for less than she deserves. A woman with high standards attracts a different kind of man. She does not entertain men who play games, waste time, or expect her to give everything without commitment. She does not have to beg for respect because the right man will recognize her value and rise to meet her expectations. A man who truly cares for her will never ask her to compromise her dignity, her beliefs, or her future just to keep him. Instead, he will appreciate her strength and support her in maintaining her principles. It takes courage to uphold high standards, especially in a world that often encourages compromise. But a woman who refuses to lower her standards will find peace, confidence, and genuine fulfillment. She will build relationships that are based on mutual respect, love that does not require sacrifice of self-worth, and a life that reflects the best version of who she was created to be. Many women enter relationships believing that they can change a man. They see his flaws, his immaturity, or his lack of direction, and instead of walking away, they take on the role of a fixer. They believe that with enough love, patience, and effort, they can mold him into the man they want him to be. But this mindset is a dangerous trap. No one can change another person unless that person decides to change for himself. Trying to change a man is not only exhausting, but also often leads to disappointment, frustration, and heartbreak. A man's transformation must come from within. If he does not see the need to grow, no amount of encouragement, sacrifice, or effort from a woman will make a lasting difference. A woman may push him to be more responsible, more committed, or more ambitious, but unless he is personally convicted, any change he makes will only be temporary. The moment pressure is removed, he will revert to his old habits. Real change is a choice, not a result of external persuasion. Women who attempt to change men often fall into the cycle of making excuses. They tell themselves that he just needs more time, that he has potential, or that he is trying his best. They hold on to hope that one day he will wake up and become the man they envision. But hope alone cannot transform a person. If a man does not take responsibility for his own growth, a woman's effort to change him will only lead to frustration. Another mistake women make is believing that their love can heal a broken man. While love is powerful, it is not a substitute for personal accountability. A woman can love a man deeply, support him endlessly, and sacrifice for him completely, but if he is not willing to work on himself, all of her efforts will be wasted. A man who truly values a woman will not need to be forced into change. He will naturally want to grow because he understands the responsibility of being in a relationship with her. Some women also fall into the trap of mothering a man instead of being his partner. They take on the role of a teacher, constantly correcting him, guiding him, and trying to make decisions for him. Instead of being his equal, they become his caretaker, believing that if they just help him enough, he will finally become the man they desire. But a grown man should not need a mother in a relationship. He should be capable of leading himself. A woman should never feel responsible for raising a man into maturity. When a woman tries to change a man, she also risks losing herself. She becomes so focused on fixing him that she neglects her own growth, dreams, and happiness. She spends her energy trying to help him improve while slowly diminishing her own value. A healthy relationship is one where both individuals are growing together, not where one person is constantly dragging the other forward. The reality is that a man will only change when he is ready. He will change when he decides that his current way of living is no longer acceptable. When he recognizes that growth is necessary for his future, and when he understands that transformation is his responsibility. A woman's role is not to force that change, but to discern whether the man she is with is already on a path of self-improvement. If he is not, then she must decide whether she is willing to accept him as he is, or if she needs to walk away. A woman who respects herself does not waste time trying to transform a man. She chooses a partner who is already committed to growth, responsibility, and maturity. She understands that real love is not about changing someone, but about supporting someone who is already working on becoming their best self. A strong woman does not settle for potential. She chooses a man who is actively living in his purpose. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, partnership, and shared responsibilities. However, many women unknowingly slip into the role of a mother rather than a partner, taking on responsibilities that do not belong to them. Instead of allowing a man to stand on his own, make his own decisions, and take responsibility for his life, they begin to manage his affairs as if he were a child. This dynamic not only weakens the relationship, but also diminishes the man's ability to grow into his full potential. When a woman starts mothering a man, she often does it out of love and care. She wants to help him succeed, ensure that he is responsible, and provide support in his life. However, over time, this excessive caretaking creates an unhealthy imbalance. She finds herself constantly reminding him of his obligations, making decisions for him, solving his problems, and even taking on tasks that he should be handling himself. Instead of being his partner, she becomes his manager, which ultimately weakens his ability to lead and take initiative. A woman who mothers a man often carries the emotional weight of the relationship. She feels the pressure to ensure that everything runs smoothly, that he makes the right choices, and that he stays on the right path. She may take on financial burdens, organize his schedule, and even make sacrifices to accommodate his shortcomings. Over time, this dynamic leads to exhaustion and resentment. Instead of feeling loved and supported, she feels drained and unappreciated, as if she is raising a grown child rather than building a partnership. When a man is mothered, he may become dependent and passive. He learns that he does not have to take full responsibility for his life because his partner will always step in to fix things for him. He may avoid making important decisions, procrastinate on personal growth, and rely on his partner to clean up his messes. Over time, this dependence can turn into entitlement, where he expects to be taken care of without making an effort to contribute equally to the relationship. A woman in this position may feel trapped, wondering why she is doing all the work while he remains indifferent. Mothering a man also prevents him from developing his own leadership skills. A strong man is one who takes responsibility for his actions, makes decisions with confidence, and leads his relationship with wisdom and vision. When a woman constantly steps in to guide, correct, and fix things, she unintentionally robs him of the opportunity to grow into his role. Instead of allowing him to learn from his mistakes and take charge of his own life, she shields him from responsibility, which ultimately stunts his maturity. A woman should not have to remind a man to be a man. If he truly values the relationship, he will take the initiative to be responsible, dependable, and proactive. A healthy relationship does not require one person to carry all the weight, while the other simply coasts along. Both individuals should contribute equally, supporting each other without one becoming the caretaker of the other. Women who find themselves in this situation must take a step back and evaluate their role in the relationship. Instead of constantly rescuing or fixing a man, she must allow him to rise to the occasion. If he truly desires to be a strong and capable partner, he will take responsibility for his life without needing to be reminded or managed. A woman who respects herself knows that she is not a man's mother. She is his equal, his partner, and his supporter, but not his caretaker. A strong relationship thrives when both individuals are mature, responsible, and self-sufficient. A woman who refuses to mother a man creates space for him to develop into his full potential. She sets boundaries that encourage him to step up, take responsibility, and contribute equally. Instead of carrying the weight of the relationship alone, she ensures that she is walking alongside a man who is capable, accountable, and fully engaged. A woman's worth is far too valuable to be given away without commitment. In today's world, many women find themselves offering the benefits of a wife without the security, honor, and recognition that come with marriage. They give their time, energy, love, and even their bodies to men who have made no real commitment to them. This is a dangerous path because it leads to emotional, mental, and sometimes even financial exhaustion, leaving a woman feeling used rather than cherished. A wife is a woman who has been chosen, honored, and committed to by a man through marriage. She is not just a companion but a life partner, someone who has been given a place of security and respect in a man's life. However, when a woman gives wife privileges to a man who has not made her his wife, she puts herself in a vulnerable position. She assumes responsibilities, makes sacrifices, and invests deeply into a relationship that has no solid foundation. In many cases, the man enjoys all the benefits without feeling the need to step up and make a real commitment. One of the most common mistakes women make is acting like a wife in hopes that a man will eventually marry them. They cook for him, clean for him, support him financially, and provide emotional stability, all while he remains undecided about their future. They believe that if they prove themselves worthy, the man will recognize their value and make a lifelong commitment. However, more often than not, this approach backfires. Instead of inspiring a man to marry them, it teaches him that he can enjoy all the advantages of marriage without any of the responsibility. Men are naturally driven by challenge and pursuit. When something is easily available without effort or commitment, it loses value in their eyes. A man who can receive all the privileges of a wife without having to commit will often take it for granted. Instead of feeling grateful, he may begin to believe that he can have the benefits without the responsibility. Over time, he may even start looking elsewhere, thinking that he can always find someone new who will give him the same privileges without requiring a deeper commitment. A woman must understand that she is the prize, not an option. She must recognize her value and set clear boundaries to protect herself from being taken advantage of. If a man wants access to wife privileges, he must first earn them by stepping into the role of a committed husband. This means making his intentions clear, pursuing marriage with seriousness, and proving through his actions that he is ready to honor and protect the relationship. Many women fear that if they do not offer these privileges, they will lose the man they love. They worry that setting boundaries will push him away. However, the truth is that the right man will not leave simply because a woman refuses to compromise her standards. A man who truly values a woman will respect her decision and take the necessary steps to secure a future with her. If he is unwilling to commit, then he was never serious about her to begin with. Giving wife privileges without marriage also takes a toll on a woman's self-worth. She may find herself feeling unappreciated, questioning her value, and wondering why she is not enough for him to commit. This emotional weight can lead to stress, insecurity, and even depression. Instead of building a relationship on trust and love, she ends up feeling like she is constantly proving herself, hoping for a commitment that may never come. A woman who respects herself understands that marriage is not just a title, it is a covenant, a promise, and a foundation for a lasting relationship. She does not rush into giving herself away in hopes of securing a man's love. A relationship should enhance who you are, not erase your identity. Too often, people enter relationships with the best intentions, but slowly begin to lose themselves in the process. They become so focused on making their partner happy, meeting their needs, and maintaining the relationship that they forget their own dreams, desires, and individuality. This loss of self is dangerous because a relationship should be a partnership between two whole individuals, not a space where one person disappears to accommodate the other. Losing yourself in a relationship often begins subtly. It starts with small compromises, sacrificing personal time, giving up hobbies, or adjusting goals to fit someone else's life. While compromise is a natural and necessary part of any relationship, it becomes unhealthy when it consistently comes at the expense of your identity. A person who constantly prioritizes their partner's needs over their own may wake up one day and realize they no longer recognize themselves. Many people lose themselves because they fear losing the relationship. They believe that if they do not constantly accommodate their partner, the love will fade or the relationship will fall apart. This mindset leads to unhealthy dynamics where one person is always giving while the other is always receiving. A healthy relationship should never require one person to shrink themselves to make the other feel comfortable. Instead, both individuals should encourage each other to grow, thrive, and remain true to who they are. Another way people lose themselves in relationships is by becoming overly dependent on their partner for emotional fulfillment. They rely on their partner for happiness, validation, and self-worth. While love and companionship bring joy, no relationship can replace a strong sense of self. A person who bases their entire identity on their partner will struggle with insecurity, fear, and emotional instability. When disagreements arise or challenges come, they may feel lost and uncertain because they have placed their sense of self entirely in another person's hands. A person's dreams and ambitions should not fade in a relationship. If anything, a relationship should provide encouragement and motivation to pursue one's purpose. When someone gives up their aspirations to fit into their partner's life, they risk future regret and resentment. True love does not demand the sacrifice of personal goals. It supports and uplifts them. A partner who truly loves and respects you will celebrate your ambitions and push you toward growth, not expect you to abandon them. Maintaining friendships, interests, and personal time is also essential in a relationship. Some people isolate themselves from friends and family because they become so immersed in their romantic relationship. Over time, they may realize that they have no support system outside of their partner. A strong individual maintains connections with people who bring balance and perspective to their life. A relationship should be an addition to a fulfilling life, not the only source of joy and companionship. Boundaries are crucial in ensuring that you do not lose yourself. It is important to express personal needs, maintain independence, and set limits on what is acceptable in the relationship. Boundaries help preserve individuality and prevent emotional exhaustion. A partner who respects and values you will honor your boundaries rather than see them as a threat to the relationship. A relationship should feel like a safe place where both individuals can be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or rejection. It should not be a space where one person fades into the background while the other takes the spotlight. Love is about building a future together while still honoring the person you were before the relationship began. Holding on to your identity, values, and passions is not selfish. It is necessary for a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Fear is one of the most dangerous motivators in life, especially when it comes to relationships. Many people settle not because they have found true love, but because they are afraid. Afraid of being alone, afraid of running out of time, afraid of never finding someone better. This kind of fear leads to decisions that may bring temporary comfort but result in long-term regret. Settling out of fear does not create happiness. It creates a life filled with silent dissatisfaction and unspoken what-ifs. One of the biggest fears that causes people to settle is the fear of loneliness. Society often places pressure on individuals to be in relationships, making them feel that being single is a problem that needs to be solved. As a result, many people rush into relationships just to fill the emptiness, even when they know deep down that the person they are with is not the right one for them. They ignore red flags, overlook their true desires, and convince themselves that something is better than nothing. However, being in the wrong relationship is far lonelier than being single. Another fear that leads to settling is the fear of time running out. Many people, especially women, feel pressure to get married by a certain age. They see others around them building families and they begin to panic, thinking that if they do not settle soon, they will miss their chance at love. This fear often results in people staying in relationships that do not fulfill them, simply because they believe starting over is too risky. But the truth is, it is better to wait for the right person than to spend a lifetime with someone who does not truly align with your heart, values, and vision. Some people settle because they fear they will never find someone who meets their standards. They begin to doubt that the love they desire is possible, so they lower their expectation. They tell themselves that no relationship is perfect, that compromise is necessary, and that their dreams of a truly fulfilling partnership are unrealistic. While no person is perfect, there is a difference between making healthy compromises and completely sacrificing what truly matters. Settling for less than what you deserve will never bring peace. It will only leave you questioning if there was something more out there. The fear of starting over also causes many people to settle. They invest years into a relationship, and even when they know it is not right, they stay because they do not want to feel like they have wasted their time. They think about how difficult it would be to begin again, to go back to being single, and to open themselves up to the unknown. But staying in the wrong relationship does not undo the past. It only prolongs the pain. Walking away may feel scary in the moment, but in the long run, it opens the door to something far better. Settling out of fear also damages self-worth. When a person convinces themselves that they have no choice but to accept less, they begin to believe they are not worthy of something greater. They stop expecting respect, love, and commitment, and they start tolerating behaviors that make them unhappy. Over time, this weakens their confidence and makes them forget how valuable they truly are. A person who knows their worth understands that they do not have to beg for love, tolerate disrespect, or accept a relationship that does not fulfill them. True love is not built on fear. It is built on mutual respect, trust, and genuine connection. A person who chooses to wait for real love rather than settle out of fear is someone who values themselves and their future. Walking away from the wrong relationship may be difficult, but it is always better than staying in something that does not truly bring happiness. The right person will not require you to settle. They will prove that love, when chosen wisely, is worth the wait. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, love cannot thrive, trust cannot grow, and true partnership cannot exist. Yet, many people tolerate disrespect because they fear confrontation, loneliness, or the possibility of losing someone they care about. They excuse poor treatment, hoping that things will change over time. But the reality is, respect is not something that should ever be negotiated or begged for. It is something that must be demanded, and if it is not given, the only choice is to walk away. When a person allows disrespect, they teach others how to treat them. Every time they overlook a rude comment, accept inconsiderate behavior, or tolerate broken promises, they send the message that they are willing to settle for less than they deserve. Over time, this creates a dynamic where the other person no longer values their presence, knowing that no matter how they behave, there will be no real consequences. When someone truly respects you, they will not only value your presence, but will also make a conscious effort to treat you with kindness, dignity, and consideration. Demanding respect is not about arrogance or pride. It is about self-worth. A person who knows their value will not entertain anyone who refuses to treat them with the honor they deserve. They will not justify disrespect hoping things will get better. Instead, they will set clear boundaries and enforce them. Boundaries are not ultimatums. They are a reflection of what a person will and will not accept in their life. If someone continues to cross those boundaries despite being made aware, that is a clear sign that they do not truly value the relationship. Some people hesitate to demand respect because they fear losing the relationship. They convince themselves that no one is perfect and that they must be patient. While no relationship is free from challenges, respect should never be one of the things that need to be worked on. A person who genuinely cares will naturally give respect without being forced to do so. If someone repeatedly disrespects you and expects you to endure it, they are showing you that your feelings and dignity do not matter to them. Walking away from a situation where respect is lacking is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. It takes courage to remove yourself from a relationship where you feel undervalued, especially when emotions are involved. Many people stay in toxic situations because they believe they can change the other person, or because they have invested too much time to leave now. However, staying in a relationship where there is no respect only leads to emotional exhaustion, frustration, and a loss of self-worth. No amount of history justifies enduring mistreatment. A person who respects themselves understands that walking away is not about giving up. It is about refusing to accept anything less than what they deserve. It is about recognizing that respect is the bare minimum in any relationship, whether romantic, professional, or platonic. When you choose to walk away from disrespect, you are not losing anything. You are making room for people who will genuinely value and honor you. The right people in your life will never make you question your worth. They will treat you with care, listen to your concerns, and show through their actions that they respect you. You will never have to beg for decency, honesty, or kindness. When you demand respect and are willing to walk away if it is not given, you set the standard for how others should treat you. More importantly, you reinforce to yourself that you are worthy of love, honor, and dignity.